I took an 18K loss on a setup I thought was perfect. Most traders would have walked away, but I knew that there was still opportunity. I took the exact same trade the very next day and I made $27,000. It honestly took me 6 years of emotional swings to now reach a stage where I can actually take a big loss, come back the next day and execute well, because earlier it used to take me weeks or maybe days or sometimes even months to recover from a big loss, but not anymore. Now it takes me maybe a few hours or maybe a few days. Also, the amazing part is that I actually shared this in real time on my Instagram and the community members as well, because it's easy to share your losses once you actually recover those losses. But I was sharing this in real time, not after making it back, not after sugarcoating it, but I shared the loss when it actually happened, raw and real in the moment. In this video, I will break down the setup first, the loss I took, and then how I was able to reset the very next day and capitalize on the same setup. There are a few things I do every single day that help me reset personally. These things are non-negotiable for me, so I'm going to share a few tips with you guys that you can also incorporate in your own trading journey. Let's start with the loss, but before we do that, I actually posted my YTD PNL, and this happened the very next day. So this is what I posted in the Discord group after taking that loss. You guys can see this was on 18th of February at 7:45 p.m. and I was done trading around 7:30 p.m. or something. So I posted this 15 minutes after it actually happened, and that's what I was saying. It's easy to post your losses after you have recovered those losses, but in real time, it's a bit difficult. So yeah, I mentioned that honestly, every time I share my PNL, this happens. I even talked about this in one of the voice trading recently that we had for the members. I posted my YTD PNL over the weekend, and this happens on the very next trading day. World is a cruel place, people jinx it, and then the members were also saying that bad eye is a real thing. But then again, what I mentioned is that PS, that's just a joke. Can't blame the world for my mistakes or a setup not working. That is also very important. You can't just keep blaming the world for every bad thing that happens in your life. You have to take ownership and work on those things. Now let's actually get onto the loss. You guys can see in the J game plan I mentioned on 18th of February that Tesla main watch for a break and hold above 359 and 362 zone for a potential push towards 373, 375. This was the main stock I was focusing on for the day. Tape will be important on this as it hasn't been strong towards the upside recently. So we have to look at the market depth and the tape and the market DNA strategy that I use. And the reason for Tesla being my main watch to start the week with, on Monday, the market was closed. We had the Washington's or President's Day or whatever. The market was closed on Tuesday. This was the first trading day of the week. On the weekly chart, I love the weekly chart on Tesla. After the elections, we had a push towards the upside. After the earnings, we had right here, we had a push up, then we consolidated. Like, look at the weekly chart. It's so good. Had a push towards the upside, red candle on low volume, green on high volume. Then we consolidated again, red candle on low volume, push towards the upside. And then after that, we made a new all-time high, 488.54. Since then, we have been pulling back to these moving averages. Especially now, if you look at the close of last week, we actually closed like a bullish doji. The sellers tried to push it down. The buyer stepped up and the volume was even high, which is also very important. Like a doji on low volume doesn't mean a lot. But if you see that, okay, sellers stepped up, but then buyers also stepped up with high volume and they were able to close it like a bullish doji, that is very important. Let's now take a look at the daily chart and see what happens. So we can see on the daily chart, we had a push down last week on Monday, Tuesday, then we recovered a bit. And then we were making kind of this bull flag on the daily chart. Let's mark a few levels, because if you guys don't remember, I actually posted a YouTube video about this trade as well on 5th of December. I'm going to make sure to link that video towards the end of this video and in the description box below. I took the exact same trade at the breakout above 360, and I think I made $32,000 on that trade. And I was looking for the same setup this week as well, because I know 360 is a good inflection zone, a really important zone where supply and demand is really, really strong. So this resistance can now act as support. So I was looking for a hold above 360 for a push towards the upside. Now let's break down the loss I took, and let's take a look at the 1 minute chart from Tuesday this week. Monday, the market was closed, and this was Tuesday this week on the 1 minute chart. So what happened right off the open? We had a push down right here, but then you guys can see this big green candle. I was like, okay, my game plan was, I'm going to show you guys again, for a break and hold above 359 and 362 zone. That was my game plan. So I stuck to my game plan. Right here, when I saw this green candle on relatively high volume, yes, 9:30 a.m. candle is always high volume, but then we had this insane push towards the upside. I entered my position right here, big size. I added to my position and I was holding for a break above 360, because I knew if it gets above 360, we are easily going to see 365, most likely 370. These levels are coming from the daily chart again. Let's go back on the daily chart. There's one concept I want to discuss with you guys. So we can see that we have 360 right here, but after 360, the next major zone is maybe around 375. because we haven't traded in between 360 and 375 a lot of days. Like maybe 1 day right here, 2 days, and maybe like 2 days right here. And back in 2021 and 22, we traded in between 360 and 375, maybe a few more days right here. So this means we have a volume gap right here. So if I add the volume profile, you guys can see on the volume profile, this is a very low volume zone. We have a volume gap. I don't even have to add the volume profile to know that it's a low volume zone, because you can actually see that from the chart. We haven't traded in between 360 and 375 a lot of days. So that means automatically it's going to have low volume in between this zone. So that means we can see some good price action between 360 and 375, because people don't have a lot of levels right here and not a lot of stop losses. So we can see some explosive push up or explosive push down in between this zone. And that's what happened right here, an explosive push up from 360 to 375 zone. And the same thing happened right here. A few days ago, we got rejected from 375 all the way down to 360. So we can see some good price action in between this zone. Coming back to the 1 minute chart, as I mentioned, my entry was right here. I added to my position. After this candle, I was like, okay, this looks like a good consolidation before the breakout above 360 and possible push towards 365 and 370. But on the next candle itself, I got squeezed. This happens. Yes, I'm pretty confident with reading the tape on Tesla and the price action. I have been trading this stock for the past 5 years, but still these things happen. No strategy is perfect. No systems are perfect. And that's why you have something called risk management in trading. But what happened right here, that's the bad and good thing about options, is that if you trade options like I do, and if you get an explosive push up in your direction, like push up or push down, the premiums move really well. But the same thing also happens in the opposite direction. Even though I exited right around 357, it was a 20% loss. I was expecting to lose around 10 to 15% on Tesla because it was a Tuesday. I was trading Friday's expiry contracts, but I still lost 20% on this trade. So that was approximately $12,000 on this trade. But then I also took a few more stabs on Tesla, because when it recovered right here, I was like, okay, this is going to go now. This is going to go now. I took a few more losses on this stock with small size, comparatively small size than compared to my opening trade. And overall, I ended the day with $18,000. Let's now take a look at my stats for this day. You guys can see I took 7 trades, 2 winners, 5 losers, total $18,000 loss. The biggest loss was on Tesla, $12,000, 20% loss, 19.44%. I'm going to show you guys how the premiums moved on this stock. So you can see right here, when Tesla got rejected and it was near low of the day, the premiums dropped a lot more under low of the day. So yes, I traded out the money contracts, 370 calls, but considering it was a Tuesday, start of the week, I honestly think it's not that far out the money. But yeah, you guys can see, like on this candle itself, you guys can see the number right here. The premiums went from 3.85, that was a high, to a low of 2.82. So yes, I could have done a better job with my exit. Most likely I would have exited maybe 3.6, best case scenario, and I would have lost $8,000 instead of losing $12,000. But the other side of the story is that had I held my position for even a few more seconds, because on the same candle itself, the premiums dropped all the way to $2.82. You guys can see my exit time was 34.14. That was within the first 15 seconds of this candle. So had I held my position maybe for 20 or 30 more seconds, I would have lost $18,000 or $20,000 on the same trade. And that's why position sizing is always relative. Yes, it seems like a big loss, but again, if you size up when you're looking for those big winners, it comes in the ballpark. Position sizing is relative, because for some traders, trading 5 contracts is a lot. For other traders, trading 500 contracts is a lot. For me, how my trading has been going this year, taking 50 to 60K worth of position is pretty consistent with how I have been trading the other days as well. Yes, I sized up on this opportunity, but it's not like 3 times the size or 4 times the size. I have been taking 40K to 50K worth of position almost every single day this month. Now we are back on the daily chart, but this winner is going to be a quick one, because it was the same strategy. The same game plan, a break above 358, 360 for a breakout towards the upside, and this happened the very next day on Wednesday. That's the importance of cutting your losers and holding your winners. So on this day, I'm going to show you guys my stats, but I took a few attempts on this setup just because I lost money the previous day. I was like, okay, if it gets faked out, if we see a big red candle, I don't want to be a part of it. And the same thing happened right here. So I missed out on this initial push towards the upside, which is okay. My game plan was to look at this stock near 358, 359. So right around here, I took a trade, I exited, I took a trade, exited, but finally I was able to catch this one good push towards the upside. I'm going to show you guys everything, the trades I took, but I exited. I took a few stabs right here because I learned from my last mistake as well, because this red candle could have been like a big red candle as well. So I was like, okay, we might see an insane rejection around 360. A hold above 360 is a better trade, but again, we might not see a break and retest. We might just push towards the upside, and that's where the break and retest strategy kind of fails sometimes, because 360 was the major level. Had you waited for a break break and retest of 360, that never happened. Yes, it happened right here. You could have got this push down, but it came all the way back down to 358. But based on my strategy, I'm a momentum trader. I like to trade the first 1 hour of the market open. So sometimes that break and retest strategy fails. And I'm actually going to be posting a YouTube video in the next few days after this video releases. And it's going to have the complete breakdown of my trading strategy. Like, it's going to be beginner friendly. I'm going to explain everything from start to end and how I use the strategy to catch trades like these. The big winner on this stock was right here. So when I saw this doji right here, I entered my position and held it all the way. And my last exit was right around here, which was based on the market DNA strategy I'm going to be talking about in the next video. Because of the tape, I could see that the tape and the market depth is not really strong around 367. The new sellers are stepping up. It wasn't even strong around 365. And that's why I was only holding 25% of my position. But eventually I was able to catch the high of the day on the last partial. Coming back to TradeZilla now, in total 5 trades, 2 winners, 3 losers, total 28k PNL after commissions, 27k approximately. Now, if you look at my trades, the first was on Apple, 8% winner. This was a quick scalp. Meta, I lost 17%, but my sizing was small, only 50 contracts compared to 100 and 200 on Tesla, because I knew Meta is something that you can lose 20% on. Tesla is something that losing 20% happens in rare situations for me and based on my strategy, the market DNA strategy, in the next video. And then we had 2 small losers. You can see how I controlled my losses right here, only 4%, 3%. Now, yes, had I held this position for maybe like 15 more minutes, this would have been a winner. But again, the risk was a lot more. I was not willing to lose 20% again. So I took a few stabs. Finally, when it started to work out, I held on to my position like a boss and made 54%. And as I mentioned, you guys can see I entered my position right around here. And then after that candle, and I held all the way near, like my last exit was near high of the day. And this was, I think, around 15 contracts. You guys can go in my executions, take a screenshot of it and study it for further education. I also know that few of the viewers of the channel, they will be a bit more skeptical. They will be like, how can you actually lose and make money 20, 30k from trading? Because I was in the same boat. When I started in 2019, I was in the same boat because I was not aware of what day trading actually is. But now after 6 years, it's not a lie. And that's why I made my last video. I posted my last video on my YTD PNL. You guys can actually look at that video. I shared my trades, my exact trades, my broker statement on Interactive Brokers. It's a regulated US broker, not like Forex bullshit where you can actually lie about your trades and create a fake account or whatever. Interactive Brokers is regulated. And you guys can go and watch that video, the YTD PNL video. I'm going to link that video in the description box below. So coming back, you guys can see that I posted my loss. This is the actual broker screenshot. You can't again fake your trades on this screenshot right here. Like, it's going to be very difficult to do it. And I don't have the time to do it because my time goes to actually trading and improving myself every single day. And then the next day, you guys can take a screenshot again, my exact entries and exits and all the trades, executions, everything in there. And that's as transparent, honest, and real I can be with you guys without actually sharing my login details. 3 things to take away from this video. The first thing is that losses are going to happen even on A+ setups. The second thing is that review, adjust, and come back with a better game plan every single day and try to improve every single day, because the first day I lost 20% on Tesla. The next day my losses were only 3 or 4%. Third thing, which is very important, because if you just focus on the third thing, you're going to be consistent. Risk management is everything. I could have walked away after that 18k loss, but the setup still had potential. And even though I lost 20% the first day on the same position sizing, I made 55% the next day. So if you hold your winners and you cut your losers, and if your risk management is on point, you will be consistent at the end of the day. Now, coming to the personal tips that I incorporate in my own trading to reset after a big loss, just have a good daily routine you stick to. Doesn't matter what happens in trading. If you're red, you stick with the same routine. If you're green, you stick with the same routine, and obviously have a healthy routine. Don't just smoke up and drink every single day, because a daily routine grounds you. It helps you reset. For me, my morning alone time, my journal, and just my whole routine is non-negotiable, because it helps me recover mentally and physically after a loss, and also a big win as well, because it's honestly biological. You gotta know and manage your dopamine curve. After big wins, it goes exponentially up and you are more prone to making stupid mistakes. You get overconfident and egoistic and cocky and you make stupid mistakes. And after a big loss, your dopamine actually goes under the baseline and you feel defeated. You feel like you can't make it in trading and whatever. So your main goal as a trader is to just manage harness that dopamine and have a healthy curve without a lot of spikes in either direction. Trading is not about winning every single trade, it's about how you handle the losses and capitalize on the wins, and this is gonna happen once you understand more about your body, like the dopamine system. If you found value in this breakdown, drop a like, subscribe to my channel if you are new, and let me know in the comment section below if you have your own story of what happened after a big loss. And also, if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, I already posted about this trade on my Instagram. Go and follow me there. The link will be in the description box below. Thank you for watching, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next one.